Welcome to Pirate Living Podcast. We are your hosts, Karan and Kristen. On this podcast, we are highlighting ordinary people living extraordinary lives. These are pirates who take small, bold actions daily to create social change. Pirate life is all about rebelling and breaking the rules for good. Creating lasting social change starts by first breaking our inner rules. After all, the hardest rules to break are your own. The pirates we're highlighting have dedicated themselves to creating good trouble.
And today on our podcast, we're talking with Mark England. Mark is our original pirate captain. He has taught us everything he knows about pirate living. Mark is a co-founder of Procabulary and the head pirate of Enlifted. Mark's Pirate Rebellion is all about helping people create empowered, fulfilled lives by using the power of better words and stories. Welcome to our podcast, Mark.
Good trouble. I like the sound of good. You had me at good trouble. Well, you had me at pirates. Yeah. Thank you for having me on, ladies. This is
Thank you for being our first guest.
First, yeah.
I know. That's
first
cool.
is the best.
That's very cool.
So before we get started today, we have a super serious question for you.
Ready.
Most serious.
I'm nervous too.
What do you call a pirate who likes to skip school?
What?
Captain Hooky.
Oh, and I have them. They're downstairs. I've got the jokes.
I mean, this is how I met you.
I've got those same jokes in that same plastic Ziploc bag.
Keep those.
Right. So we could. I thought about mailing them to you, actually, Kristen.
I would love those jokes.
Laminate them, and Lance pulls them out for dinner parties and festivals.
Anytime I want Lance to walk out of the room, I'll start telling a pirate joke.
Right. Yeah, Captain Hooky. I like that. I
mean, is it a pirate podcast if there's not corny pirate jokes? Like all negations acknowledged on that one.
Oh, you just throw Procabulary out the window and let the pirate jokes fly. Wow. Yeah,
cool.
It's a. Do you got any more?
We do.
We're saving them.
Yeah.
Okay. You got other podcasts to do. You got fine. Right. You get one, Mark.
We can't.
You get one.
Yes. Cool. Well, Mark, obviously, Kristen and I have known you for a long time. We've both been in the Enlifted program with you for, a year of coaching with you, which is amazing. And we would love for you to weave us a tale about your journey into pirate living. So after all, Enlifted really is all about being more pirate. So what does it mean to you to be a pirate? And can you tell us your journey to becoming a pirate?
When I was 10, 12, 13, I remember holidays around my mother's side of the family and my father's side of the family. And I remember looking at the middle-aged men, and I'd watch them, and they looked bored out of their minds, just bored. And I can talk about being a middle-aged man because I just went on the Middle-Aged Man podcast a couple of weeks ago, which was the first time funnily enough, I'd ever thought about myself as a middle-aged man. I turned 45 this summer. And I looked at that and I'm like, that just doesn't look fun. It doesn't look fun at all. And I had a college professor. So there's a variety of different markers along the way until it dawned on me that the pirates had it right. One of them was a professor. He talked about adventure. I'm like, adventure. I never really thought about adventure much. We got our 2 weeks vacation. That's what I was used to growing up in Virginia. We'd go down to the Outer Banks and you got 2 weeks. So when I booked a one-way ticket at 25 to move over to Thailand for a year, which turned into 10 years. That was a bold move. And it felt, you know what it felt like? I was talking about this to Ready Dave. We were talking about the lake house and how the lake house feels. You know what it felt like when I moved over there? And this is something that I look for as far as feelings are concerned when I'm making decisions. That might sound a little bit strange. And, you know, how we feel about our options, that's information, that's feedback. I'm looking for the just got out on summer vacation feel. So remember that? Remember that when you got out of school? You got out of school that last day and it was summer forever and you're 12 and you're like, oh my God. That right there, that it's uplifting. There's levity. It feels like wind on your face. And then I come back from Thailand and my father's flying a pirate flag at the farm. You know, I'd been gone for a couple of years and I come back and I'm like, why is he flying a pirate flag? And I asked him and he goes, it's because we're pirates. And I thought about it and I'm like, you know, that dude is. He's a hillbilly, damn good athlete, got a scholarship out of the coal mines and started his own business, convenience store business in the 80s in the super hard city of Richmond at the time. And he was just, it was a cash business. Sawed off shotguns laying around the house. I mean, it was like something out of a movie when I look back on that. And then I'm talking to Brandon Powell, and he's telling me about Wim Hof, and he goes, "Wim's a real pirate," and that was the final straw. It was funny that was the final straw, that it just clicked into place. That, you know what? Me and the friends that I hang around with and my dad and the things that make me excited about my life, this whole thing, when I add it up on a calculator and I hit enter, I get piracy. I said, okay, cool. And it just rolled from there. From Lizanne, who was also, she graduated with y'all, level 3. Shout out to the OG level 3s, group 1. She gave me that book, Be More Pirate. And I read it. I remember I was over on tour in Europe 2018, and I love the book. Little did I know that Alex Barker was going to be a part of the squad, who's part of the team of how to be more pirate. We're running pirate workshops, and we're forging a pirate code. Piracy it's not about flying across the, holding onto a rope with a cutlass and going over there and stealing people's shit. It's about betting on yourself. It's about betting on yourself. I'd rather take a chance at something unique and interesting and worthwhile than safety. I'm not a big fan of safety. In the traditional sense. I am, by nature and nurture, I'm risk centric, which, God bless Adam Chin. By nature and nurture, he's risk averse. So, we balance each other out pretty well. But I like a little bit of pressure. I like intensity. I like to take chances.
It reminds me of the quote from Steve Jobs: "I'd rather be a pirate than join the Navy."
He's right.
Yeah,
that's exactly what that is. And it also adds something fun to the conversation, the community. I mean, you all are, longtime members of the Enlifted community, and people gravitate to it. There's something about it. And so I can say all of that. I know that was a decently long-winded answer to your question. And there's also something about it I can't put my finger on. There's an X factor to the whole conversation. Good trouble.
Best kind.
Well, when you think about like growing up, I can speak for myself, but the whole thing was you had to be a good girl. You had to be a good daughter. You had to be a good student. There was no rebellion. There was no good trouble. That didn't exist. Any trouble was just trouble, good or bad. So to finally give ourselves permission to cause good trouble, to rebel, to do something different, to step outside, to like quit the Navy literally, and captain our own pirate ships, like that's exciting. And that's one of the things that brought Kristen and I together, and why we realized we were pirates, quitting corporate good paying jobs, quitting the Navy in the middle of a pandemic and going all in on ourselves. That for me was the most pirate thing I've done to date.
It's very pirate.
Right. And I think for me, it really is that permission. Like, no, you can do this. And it's giving ourselves permission to go all in on ourselves and to take that chance and to make that rebellion. And what impact do we want to have on the world? What is that social change that we want to make? That to me is what piracy is about. Because I was doing cool jobs. They weren't normal, quote unquote, jobs, but they're still part of the Navy. Right. So now we get to pirate our own ships into things that we're passionate about, and having that passion in your life where you can wake up every day feeling like it's the first day of summer vacation. Every day you're excited to go do what you want to do and follow that passion and create an impact. My first article from my personal pirate code is impact over everything. Right. And that's what inspires me every day. And that to me is pirate. Right. It's my rant.
It's a good rant.
Mm-hmm.
The entrepreneurs are pirates. Those are the pirates, because if we want to get all historical about it, pirates were doing the exact same thing as privateers were doing. They just simply were not sanctioned to do it by governments. So there were fleets. Sir Francis Drake, Sir Francis Drake, he was knighted because he did such a good job of stealing other people's shit from their boats. And the Queen said, hey, here, you're doing a great job. Here's a bunch of boats and the best people we got. And he just kept bringing back stuff. It was sanctioned piracy. And then the pirates, they weren't getting paid. A lot of times they weren't getting paid, or it was just a drag. And they're like, you know what, let's go do this ourselves. And then the government shook a finger at them. No, we're the only ones that can steal in mass. They did it anyway, though. There was a golden age of piracy, folks. Late 1600s to early 1700s. They even had a capital. They even had an island, Barbados. Barbados was a pirate. It was pirate headquarters for a little while. There was over 3,000 pirates on that island at one point in time. Yeah. What's your pirate rant, Kristen?
My pirate rant? Oh, goodness. That's a great question. Well, let's go with that quote of if you want to change the world, you have to throw a better party than those destroying it. And so
perfect for you. Perfect
right?
for you, by the way.
And let's go into that, because Lance and I had wanted community. And so we started hosting dinner parties, and those led into parties that were happening all on their own. So
hold on, you wanted to be a part of a community.
Yeah.
It wasn't that you didn't want to create and it was like you wanted to be a part. I'm like, well, start do it yourself. And they did. Anyway, I interrupted. Mm-hmm. Please continue.
Oh no. So yeah, we started off with dinner parties, and once COVID started sending everybody into their houses, I was like, dinner parties are on hold for a while. And then about 6-7 months later, all of a sudden parties started happening. And we had one that was a 2-day party, ended with a flaming sword. So we decided, if this is what happens without trying, what does it look like when we actually do try? Like what can we create? So building community, throwing better parties. And bringing people together, having fun while doing it.
Y'all are on. I hear the word festival getting thrown around over there on the West Coast.
It's true. We've started talking festivals as well.
Yeah, they really have, everybody. It's it's amazing what happens when you throw a dinner party and then throw another one.
Mm-hmm. And then people start living with you and parties happen. So
and that's a very pirate thing too, is the love for celebration. The two most prized people to capture, you know who they were?
No.
Cooks and musicians. Yeah. If they caught a musician, they found a musician on another boat. Hey, buddy, you're coming with me, and bring your ukulele or whatever it is. Because guess what? No shit. They like to drink. They like to party. They like to have fun. They were more lively than the average person too. I find that as well. People that are attracted to the conversation about piracy. There's 10, 15, 20% more juice in that person. They got more electricity. They're more interesting. They tell better stories. Pirates. If you're a pirate and you can't tell a good story, that means you haven't gone out and created a good story worth telling. Or yeah, I like good stories.
Do you have a favorite pirate, Mark?
Oh, of course, Blackbeard.
Mm.
Yeah, I've got unquestionably his number one biography on Blackbeard. It's downstairs. He just an absolute savage. From what he did with his pirate practice. I mean, he was born in Bristol, very likely born in Bristol. That's not for sure, but he was English, and he was tall. He was big, long arms, sinewy muscle, and then he just grew out this big beard. And he was a master storyteller, as in, I'm going to scare the crap out of y'all. He was never known. It was unknown that he killed anyone. Okay, he just scared people. He would take cannon fuses and tie them in his beard. And so when he would come across into other people's ships, they would tell stories that this guy was part beast and part man because of how scary he was. His beard would come up to his eyes. That's it grew. That's kind of weird, but it would. And then it was a huge beard with these cannon fuses, lit fuses, smoke. They called him a devil. And I mean, he blockaded Charleston, South Carolina. He got married 13 times. And the guy was a total badass when it came time he fought to the death in a place called Oregon Inlet, Teach's Hole. So his real name was Edward Teach. And where he would hang out was around Elizabeth City, Bath City. And then also in down there in Oregon, was it Oregon Inlet? It's Hatteras. Thank you, Hatteras. And then this one little hole where it was Teach's Hole. He got ransacked. They ambushed him, and he died with something like 14 saber cuts to him and 5 musket wounds.
Oh, wow.
He was still fighting. He was still fighting up until the time somebody came up behind him and cut his head off. Gangster. If you're going to go out, go out,
Go big.
Go big, yeah.
Go big.
Well, he had a really interesting flag too. Do you know the symbolism behind his flag?
I read it and I forgot it. It's the devil with the heart and the pitchfork on it. Yeah. Please tell me. Do you know?
I don't. I was wondering if you. I don't remember it. So I was wondering if you did. But it's a very unique one. Even with all the different pirate flags, that one stands out.
That one does stand out.
Mhm.
So that's my favorite pirate. And then, my second favorite pirate, her name, Sing Lee, I think it is. So Chinese prostitute that got into piracy and ended up having more boats than the Chinese Navy. She had over 1,000 pirate boats, a total armada. She was by far the most financially successful pirate. And there's no question. So much so that the government had to capitulate, and she retired. She got into some business, and handed over her fleet. I mean, it was like, what? These stories are like that. It's like, what?
She's the OG pirate queen.
It's the real, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Lioness of Brittany. She was of British royal descent. This is making me want to read up on my pirate history, because I'm seeing holes in the people's names and the specifics, which is what really gets the job done when you're storytelling. But it was the Lioness of Brittany. Her husband was killed by the French Navy, and she was like, "No, I'm not having it." And she had access to resources, and she hired a bunch of pirate ships and went out and just started killing French people, or French Navy, like would engage them and beat them. Hell hath no fury like a like a woman scorned,
like a pirate queen scorned,
like a pirate queen scorned.
Don't kill my husband.
Yeah. Genghis Khan was a pirate. I mean, he was a land pirate. Anyway, I can keep talking about that. If you want me to, I will.
It's exciting. Well, we also would like to know from you, since pirates are about setting or rebelling against the status quo, what is your rebellion, Mark? My
rebellion is I've issued and there is something to the language about it, but I've to say that I've declared war on the victim mentality is a little strong, and it's close. That's the thing that I rebel against. My own and other people's. That's what it comes down to. The whole conversation about the language work. Rebelling against the part of us that would love to whisper us into playing small and not leading an adventurous life, and the part of us that would love to see us fail and lose, and I think the whole thing that's just that's a very ultra common occurrence. I find that very strange. What is that? What is that voice that whispers not so sweet nothings to us? It's a collective issue. So once I realized how much time and energy and I was investing into it, and what would happen if I continued to believe the part of me that thinks I'm not good enough, and all those oftentimes just baseless opinions. It turned into something of a game. People like playing games, and well, I mean, I'm 14 years in the game. I've stuck with it, and turns out that there are a lot of other people out there that want to feel good about their lives and do cool shit and hang out with other people, and find that turning the volume down on that evil inner roommate is of great benefit to them, and they like themselves more when they do. And I mean, no surprise there. Did I foresee it turning into this? It's easier for things to come into view the closer you get to them. And when I first started, I was literally living in a hut on the beach on an island in the Gulf of Thailand, doing as many individual sessions as I could get my hands on for $60 an hour for several years. And we're just getting started. You've heard me say that before.
What was your original goal with this, with the language and the story work?
That's an interesting question. It was something I was irrationally obsessed with. And it's something that I'm still irrationally obsessed with. Well, it's more rational now as the community has come into focus, and it's not even come into focus. The community's the foundation of it is established on a number of levels. I moved to Thailand to go work at this health resort on that island with a one-way ticket and $500 in my pocket, when I was 30. And a lot of my friends were married, houses, careers. I left a good job teaching in Bangkok at an international school. I really rolled the dice. I just knew I had to. I'm like, what? It made no sense. It made no sense in one sense. Why am I obsessing? Why am I so competitive with this? And it just went on and on. I've been that way the whole time. Just volume, line them up, knock them out, podcast, whatever it has to do with this line of work, sessions, certs. Writing starts to scare me when I think about what I'm going to do when I dedicate most of my time to writing. I'll probably get obsessed about writing, just like I've been obsessed about other aspects of this, and crank out 6 books or something. It's doing this work gives me existential comfort.
How so?
Because I know how I want to die.
Go on.
I know how I want to die. I've thought about this, ladies. And it's something that, again, I can only understand it on a certain level. There's a box I have to check with this stuff. I've thought about this. I've felt into it enough to where I made a decision, or I gave myself an answer to what this it's an unquenchable drive is. What the fuck is that? And I told myself a simple story is that, dude, this is just something that you're here to do, and you got to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable. And if you don't, and you die, when you die and you haven't checked the box, then you're going to have some deathbed regrets. And I think that that's probably the scariest shit on the planet. Because I've actually asked. One of my friends was she was a hospice nurse. I said, is it true, like a long-time hospice nurse? I said, is it true that people give deathbed recounts of things? And she's like, oh yeah, it's so true. It's absolutely true. And it's even weirder than that. She's like, they'll do it when they're half conscious. So I'm thinking, that's, what is that? That's some smarter part of them than their conscious mind saying, we got to get this stuff out of here in order to transition to the next thing well. And so I'm like, well, if they're getting that stuff off their chest so they can die better, what about going after the stuff that makes your heart sing? A little overused words there, and fine. And really following through with that, and then dying and being really I want to be ready to die when I die. I pray for that sliver of space. I almost got shot 40 minutes ago.
Now,
I promise you that's a true story. Talk about true stories, country living. I'll tell you that in a second. I promise I pray for a sliver of bandwidth when I'm dying, enough mental real estate, so where I can know that it's happening, and I've done this amount of work that we're doing, and because I know how I want to go. I want to look at my life with a hot second and go, cool. Then I'm ready. So I'm at the lake house, and I'm gonna go splash around in the water. This is a totally true story. I don't know if I almost just came close to getting killed, but I almost got shot by the neighbor with a 410 shotgun aiming at snakes, water snakes.
Those houses are pretty close together too.
Right there, Cecil.
Yeah.
Cecil's like 80. He just had open heart surgery, and he's got a thing for water snakes. He doesn't like them. Okay, he's got a grandchild, a great grandchild, and old men are funny. Anyway, I walk off the deck, and I turn and I'm walking over to the dock, and I hear somebody call my name, and I turn around, and it's Cecil, and he goes, "Hey, Mark, I just want you to know that I live up in the mountains, Virginia. I just want you to know that if you hear a gunshot, I'm going after a snake, a water snake." All right, Cecil. 6 steps later, I hear a gunshot, and then the pellets fucking fly. They're skimming the grass on both sides of me. I'm like, holy shit, dude. So, you never know when you're going to go. Cecil could have got me.
There was a water snake at your feet. He was saving you.
I just, I got 4 in the past 2 days. Karan wants to come talk to these people. Do people like that really exist? Yes, Karan, they really do.
We just thought those were like TV Americans up here in Canada.
No.
No, they're very real.
You're so innocent.
They're very real. Get once the borders open up, drive your thing down here, and I'll introduce you to Cecil.
Can't wait to meet him.
Yeah.
Hold on, Cecil, I'm coming.
Right. So there's something bigger than I can understand with me and us in this work, and I know I got to do it, so I do it, and I'm drinking fizzy water. I keep it simple. I'm negation acknowledged. I'm not going to ask many more questions about it. After 10 years of me being fascinated, I fell in love. I fell in love with this work. The moment I saw it 17 years ago at a workshop in Thailand, watched this woman get her story turned on her head for good reason. And I said, that's not my story, but that's my story. And it's been spooky. I've been hooked ever since. The stuff that grabs your attention. What are you curious about? What are you curious about, everybody? Attraction's not a choice. I mean, you ever thought about that? Good luck talking yourself out of being attracted to someone, or good luck talking yourself into being attracted to someone. That's not how that game's played. And it's the same thing with our callings too. And I had to walk down the path for 10 years for me to decide that this is what I'm going to do with the vast majority, if not the entirety, of my professional time on this planet. After 10 years of it just holding my attention, I said, fine, you get me for 50. I didn't know that when I first saw it, though. I just knew I wanted to do it, get better at it. I knew I needed it for myself first and foremost. And then I decided, I remember where I was too. I decided that I was going to get good at it. Decisions. Not deciding I'm going to make it a successful business, not deciding, nothing. The only decision was I'm going to get really fucking good at this.
So you say you remember where you were. So tell us about that. What's that story?
I was walking into the spa. It was, so I was teaching in Bangkok. I lived in Thailand for 10 years. The first 5, I was teaching at an American school in Bangkok. We had a great, it was a great gig. Elementary school sports teacher, 4 months paid vacation. And it was an hour and a half flight down to this island. And once I started working on myself, quote unquote, working on myself, I spent a lot of time down there. And it was about 2004, I believe it was. And I had gotten some DVDs on emotional freedom technique, which was the form of story work, which I started in, and just walking into the spa, just one random day, walking right past the yoga sala on those particular, concrete-esque tiles they had. Well, I remember it on my feet. I said, I'm going to get good at this. I'm going to get really good at this. It was an interesting thing to say because I'd only made that decision about one other thing before. And I had a job at the time. It was just, it's a cool thing to do. Deciding to get good at something. If that's the case, then guess what? You're going to do a lot of it. No way around the reps.
Well, and being a pirate is all about taking, small, bold actions. So once you've made that decision, what bold actions did you take to become good at it? To start your mastery of this?
I ordered all the DVDs. There's 80 of them. And I started doing sessions. Started just, hey, I'm doing this coaching stuff. Would you like to do a session? And I continued. From the start, I've enjoyed testing my skills. Take my skill set into different environments and see how it holds up. Whether it's doing large workshops or sessions of a specific nature that are unique in one sense. Different environments. So I'm going to Austin, Texas next month, and there's a guy, Jeremy, who's involved with recovery homes, and he's got like 4, and he messaged me back. I've got to get back to him. I'm going to get back to him about doing a workshop for there's some people with some hard stories. Do a workshop there, and I'm going to do it for free just to do it. I like to test myself. I like to test myself with this in the short term and the long term. Do I have what it takes to be in the game for 50 years? Am I the kind of person that will talk myself into that for 50 years? Because it's a decision after a decision. And then tomorrow you make the same decision. It's like you wake up and you decide to do it again and again and again and again. I'm learning a lot about myself. I mean,
Have you ever had any moments where you doubted that decision, where you're like, do I want to do this for 50 years?
no. I've had questions whether, and this led to some, a very interesting R&D time. It's like year 4 or 5 when I was questioning, is this the very best way for me to work with people? And then that I went on a number of adventures tracking down the founders of most of the systems that I found that I knew of. I'm sure there's great stuff out there that I don't know about. Founders of the systems that were most impressive to me at the time, and studying with them, and sometimes immersing myself in the community and taking the pulse that way as well. You can learn a lot about a system by the community. I found that out. Quick. But this is just, I've got very little question. In one sense, I have no questions about what I'm going to do with my professional life. There's other questions to answer, though, like marketing email campaigns, and do we do a money seminar? Do we do a free money seminar? Or do we go do another goal setting seminar? So that's what we're talking about currently right now. The money seminar worked. We chose that. Cinco de Mayo, folks.
Well, one of the things that I love about what you do that really inspired me to kind of take up the torch, if you will, is doing these free workshops and these free seminars. And so what is it about kind of giving away the cow for free, so to speak, that you continue to do it? Like, why do you continue to do free coaching every week? For those that don't know, Mark does free coaching every Tuesday. Tuesday on Instagram, doing free workshops for the coaches and for the community. What inspires you to keep doing these free things?
Good question. First and foremost, it feels right. And I'm a huge believer in creating our own opportunity and putting it out there. Put your stuff out there. Like, if you're a coach, do you have how are people going to interact with you and figure out, to take the pulse, figure out if you're a good fit for them, what you do is a good fit for them. Getting certified and thinking that, well, now that I'm a certified coach, people are going to beat my door down for sessions. I've never seen that. And this is something that I did from the start. I like kickstarting things. I'm big on action, underthinking things and taking a lot of action. So when I first moved down to the spa, that's the name, the spa. There was 10, 11, 12, depending on the time of the year, practitioners there doing all kinds of woo-woo shit. And I'm looking around and I'm like, hey, went to the guy that heads up the practitioners, and you mind if I do a workshop on Wednesday nights? Nobody's doing anything in the evenings. The yoga sala is just empty. There's people congregating in the restaurant. He goes, yeah, sure, why not? Boy, did that thing take off. That's where I first started public speaking. It wasn't just public talks. It was me running workshops, an hour-long workshop. Hey, everybody, my name's Mark. Let's talk about words and language and story. It definitely did not sound that good when I first started. And I did that. I did every Wednesday for years. And not only did I do that, it kicked off. For years, it was the height of the spa. There was a golden age. Talk about a golden age of piracy. There was a golden age of the spa. Adam was in the middle of all of it. And part of it was 6 nights a week. We had different workshops from emotional freedom technique to family constellations to hypnotherapy to Reiki to I say tarot cards, and it let's get the thing going. I'm good at the whole let's get the thing going part. Same thing with Tuesday Night Live. I mean, that came out of me doing a free 1 hour workshop for 20 people on how to supercharge affirmations. 40 people showed up. Hey, can we do this again? Yeah, let's same time next week. Great. And then it just that turned into Story Club, and then we just I nuked my Facebook account, which I'm still crying about. I'm really sorry that I did that. I'm lying. I'm not at all. I hit delete and never even thought about it again. And then just rolled because I was doing it was every Wednesday. It's every Wednesday or every Thursday, 4:30.
It was Thursday because
It was
always
Thursday.
during my it was always during my coach's meeting. I couldn't make anyone.
Right. It was every Thursday from March 2020 to January 7th, 2020. That was the last Story Club. Every single Thursday, hit them all, and then just rolled it over to Tuesday Night Lives. And we had a woman on last night about money stories. And it's just on a side note, folks, a storytelling side note. It's not the event that gets us. It's our interpretation of the event that gets us. So her story was called The Squirrel and the Owl. And it was a specific event where she created an interpretation about an event to mean something about her, that she was second rate, not good enough, her sister was better than her, and money was something that to be stressed over, which was they go to the mall and her sister gets this stuffed owl that she really liked, and she wanted an owl, the same owl, because she wanted to be like her bigger sister, and they got her a little scraggly stuffed squirrel instead. And all hell broke loose in her head about what that meant. It stayed in there until she got the damn thing on paper and got it out, and then got some breath in there and got herself out of that trauma state. It fascinates me. So yeah, I find that as the most enjoyable. There's a couple things that are the absolute highlights of this for me, which is watching someone go through a transformative process, guiding them through it, changing their language. And then, I mean, how many times have you two heard me repeat myself about stuff?
Never. You never repeat yourself.
Oh, what?
It's just ridiculous. I am the broken record, the mouth of the South. And then there's teaching this stuff and having you all go out and use this stuff and come back with stories of, successes, defeats, just whatever stories, tales from the trenches. That's super, super valuable, satisfying. I mean, that's I get every time that happens. It's just it's that small check-in with, yeah, I am very much on doing the right thing for me in this life.
We appreciate that you're doing this too.
And teaching it.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder now, what would you recommend for our listeners to go about to start their own pirate life and creating their own small, bold actions?
That's easy. Work with you two. Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, very simple. Book in for sessions with either one of them, or do one of their instructor-led language training courses. You'll get more out of that. It'll make your head spin. You'll be talking about it for years. Yeah, work with you two.
Great answer, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, and it was really your program, Procabulary, which it was the very first introduction to any of this for me. And the moment I started, I was hooked. And I could see the shift that the simple act of making changes in my language made in my entire life. And that was super exciting to then be able to learn from you how to guide other people to do that, right? And have that impact. And for me, started using that with my nutrition clients. And we could see these stories that people had from their youth that were impacting, how they felt about their bodies or how they felt about food, or things that they were avoiding feeling and using food as that comfort. And, my clients started having, breakthroughs with their nutrition or their diet and their health, because we attacked these stories. And it's such a powerful tool that, obviously I agree that you should join Kristen and I's, instructor-led core language upgrade program, which we're excited about. We've merged and we're teamed up to do these together, which is cool because, having more Kristen in my life is always a good thing. and together we can create a greater impact than alone, as a team, as a community. And we continue to grow that. And one of the reasons we wanted to have you as our first guest is because you've inspired that, you've created that in us, or you've led us to this path of awesomeness and empowerment and the desire to do the same kind of work and to create that same kind of impact, which is totally cool that we have you as our pirate captain, and now we're pirate queens ourselves, leading our own ships and creating our own communities, which is badass. I think take out
totally badass. It's totally badass out there on the seas, wind in your face, risks and rewards. It's a damn good story is what it is.
Totally.
When I met Mark, he was telling stand-up pirate jokes.
It's a true story.
It is. It's very true.
That's a true story.
Like, who is this guy that's telling these pirate jokes right now?
I just kept telling him. I saw, I could see the look on everybody's faces, which was, how do I react to this? And I've got like 15 pirate jokes on 3x5 cards, and we're 3 or 4 jokes in, and I'm like, we got 10 more. I didn't say that, but just sometimes you go for it. I was telling those jokes for me as much as anybody.
I've highly appreciated it, as I'm in this place with a whole bunch of people I didn't know, wasn't sure what I was getting into, and was still trying to figure out where everybody fell into, like what's going to be happening these next few days. And then you'd ask for some, like, does anybody know the answers? And I was like, ooh, I got some of these. I know these. So I appreciated it.
The jokes are right downstairs.
Is there any that you can share with us off the top of your head, Mark? We want to make sure that we include plenty of corny pirate jokes in this podcast.
You know what? I'm gonna go get them.
Okay. Taking us for a tour.
All right. Well, you go get those. I have a question back to that quote about if you want to change the world, you have to throw better parties than those destroying it.
That's Buckminster Fuller all the way right there. Yeah. If you want to create a better system, if you want to defeat the old system, you create a better one that makes the old one obsolete.
So what are you doing to throw better parties?
Well, the next one is the next party that we're throwing, which is going to be the last Enlifted Lake House Chronicle. That is in, yep, got him. It's in July. The Lake House, which is where I'm at right now, it maxes out sleeping people at about 25 people. Look, everybody. I'll I'll show you where I almost died. I wouldn't have been killed, but it would have stung. Bird shot out of a 410. I don't know if y'all know what that is, but it's like tiny little pellets. So Cecil, shit, he's still over there. Cecil is right there. Okay. And I come walking down these steps and I have a conversation with him, and I'm walking out to the dock, and he fires while I'm about right there. And zing. It's that right there, folks. Where's the flag?
Other way. There it is.
Yeah. That's the Enlifted pirate flag. It's the Enlifted symbol with a little skull underneath it as the eye for the thing. So I'm gonna rent. I've got to get my captain's license. We're gonna rent a 10-person houseboat and park it right there so we can fit 10 more people in the house. And then from there, it's on to. Oh shit! Look.
Is he shooting?
Aiming. Seriously.
Hiding from the gunman.
Oh, catch that? Did you hear that?
No.
No.
Shot.
He's shotting.
Promise to God.
Gotta watch out. Or you're gonna be picking a shot out of your leg.
Be a person that runs upstairs, folks. Somebody runs upstairs, I want to know them. So this is the very best. It's also an excellent historical account of the times. This is the best biography on Blackbeard the Pirate.
Blackbeard the Pirate.
Blackbeard the Pirate by Robert E. Lee. And then this book, phenomenal. Be More Pirate, or How to Take on the World and Win by Sam Coniff Allende. That's fantastic.
Have you started How to Be More Pirate? How to Be More Pirate.
Yeah.
It
so
is.
good.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the jokes with a rubber spider in there.
Is that a spider?
Can't wait.
What do pirates and pimps have in common?
Oh, I don't know.
They both say yo ho and walk with a limp. You should know this, and if you don't, what's a pirate's favorite class in school? Art.
I was about to say.
How do pirates greet each other?
Tell us.
How are you? What lies at the bottom of the ocean and twitches?
Oh no.
A nervous wreck. What did the ocean say to the pirate?
Nothing. It just waved.
Nothing. It just waved. These are the jokes. These are the exact jokes. They've been in my book bag for over 2 years. What do pirates use telephones for?
Don't know.
Booty calls. What do you call a pirate on drugs?
I don't
Don't
know.
know.
Hooked. What do you get when you teach pirates to sing? Harmony. What do you call a pirate's one true love?
See?
His soul matey.
Oh.
What did the pirate with cardiovascular disease yell when he was dying?
My heart.
Army Hardy.
Ah.
Close.
How do pirates teach their children to read?
I don't know.
Hooked on phonics.
Ah.
Why didn't the pirate go to the movies?
It was rated R.
You got it. Exactly. What does a pirate think happens at the end of time? Armageddon. How do you turn a pirate furious? Take off the P.
Irate.
Y'all are smarter than me. I didn't get it. How much did the pirate pay for his peg and his hook?
An arm and a leg.
Those are brilliant. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. Good way to end a pirate life living podcast, huh?
It is.
It really is. I hope we can find a good source of corny pirate jokes to sustain us for the first year. Our goal for the first year is 50 episodes. So we need
that's fantastic goal.
Yeah. I feel like we've got 25 scheduled just in the first month.
Uh-huh.
You got 25 scheduled?
We're close.
That's how it's done. It's just, advertising is right around the corner.
Getting there.
Cool. So, well, then let's wrap up with the question of where can our listeners find you, Mark?
Instagram. It's going to take off one of these days. Mark England 2057. We do a class every Tuesday night from 6 to 7. It's all about the stories, the transformation, the language. Pick a topic, bring people on, coach people. You just watch it happen right in front of your eyes.
Awesome.
I highly recommend it. It's a great way to spend a Tuesday.
It's fun.
Thanks so much, Mark, for being our first guest. This is very special for both of us. Not only our first podcast, but having you here with us makes it even that much better.
Thank you for having me on. It was a lot of fun. Great questions, great flow. Just, y'all are gonna be really, really good at this. You already are.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a blessing from Mark.
Go forth and prosper.
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra.